welcome to 13 Moons Homestead. Today is day 18 of Vlogmas, 17, something like that. Tonight I am down in my garage, which serves as my dye studio, where I dye yarn and fiber to sell, and I'm working on a custom order tonight for a client. So I thought I would take you along and give you an idea what I'm working on tonight. I'm not going to get it finished tonight, so you're just going to see a little bit of my process, and hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be able to show it to you finished. I should have it finished and dried and ready to go by Friday because I have to deliver it. I'm supposed to deliver it on Friday. So this is what I'm working on tonight, and I'll apologize in advance. The lighting in here is terrible. Where the light bulb is, it's very, very bright and harsh, and where it isn't, there's almost no light. That's just what I'm working with right now. We haven't been able to fix the electric down here yet. So I've got the steamers running. I've got a heater on because it's pretty chilly out here today, and I'm gonna get my dye on. Working on prepping these skeins to go in the dye pot. I wanted to show you what I'm using. When I put these in, I'm doing semi-solids today, so they go into it's actually restaurant equipment, tabletop steamers, but I dye right in the well of them when I do my semi-solid colors. But in order to get them out again, you're pulling them out of almost boiling water, so you need, first of all, heat-resistant gloves. Heat-resistant, waterproof gloves, but you need some sort of a handle to make it a little easier to get the skeins out. So what I have come to find recently, this last year, are these silicone zip ties, and they're really easy to use, and they're reusable. Because they're silicone, they resist temperatures 2 or more times higher than what I need to use, so I don't have to worry about them going in and out of the pots with the yarn. It's not going to hurt them at all. They don't transfer any color to the water or to the yarn. So I use these. I have them in 6 colors. For this brand has 6 colors, so I can use them on different skeins of yarn to delineate different bases. If I'm doing one that has wool and one that has wool and alpaca in it, or they're different sizes, whatever, I can dye them together in the same pot, as long as I have the color coding on them so I know which one is which later. And I put them through the middle of a skein, just like this, and attach it just like this. Make sure I leave plenty of room, because when I have those big thick gloves on, I need to be able to hook a thumb, or I have some tongs that I can pull them out with to get a hold of it. So this is how I prep the skeins to go in the dye pots. Depending on the method that I'm using, sometimes they also get pre-soaked in a tub of water, or I have a washing machine that is dedicated to the dye studio. Sometimes I will pre-soak in there and then drain and spin out most of the water, it helps if you have damp skeins to wick the dye in. So it depends on what kind of a look you want, and what you're going for. If you want it to be really, really even, or if you want it to not be even, and how many processes are you putting the yarn through. This is the simplest one, to just do semi-solids, and in this case I'm going to put them into the pot dry. The order I'm working on today, the client is asking for colors to do a specific pattern. It's a knitted blanket pattern, and she needs 7 different colors, and she gave me free reign to pick. So I picked I'm basically going to do like a sunrise or sunset set of colors. So I'm going to be using a marigold for the yellow, gold yellow color, and coral pink is kind of an orangey pink color. Raspberry is a very saturated pink color, darker pink than the last one, and then a purple haze color. And in between those colors I'll be mixing some of them to get sort of a gradient from yellow to a orangey pink to a pinky purple to a purple. The products that I dye are all protein-based fibers, so I'm dyeing primarily wool, and then also alpaca, llama, silk, cashmere, anything that is a protein-based fiber, and also some of my sock yarns that need a little bit of extra strength have some nylon in them, and nylon also accepts dye the same way as a protein fiber does. So these are all wools or hairs. They're not, like, I don't do cotton or linen or flax or anything like that. You can do them if you get the appropriate dyes. It's a completely different method than dyeing on protein fibers, and takes different dyes. So what I use for protein-based fibers are professional acid dyes and fiber reactive dyes. Don't let the word acid scare you. These dyes are set with food grade vinegar or citric acid, the exact same stuff you buy to preserve or flavor foods. As a matter of fact, I buy them from Restaurant Supply sometimes. Some of the dyes do have heavy metals in them, so you need to choose which dyes you want to use, and all of them are chemicals. So when you're working with these dyes, you do need to take precautions, but just like any cleaning product, as long as you use them correctly, they're perfectly safe to use. So I do use nitrile gloves when I'm working with either powdered or liquid mixed dyes to protect my hands and skin. It's not a huge deal. You don't need to panic if you get some dye on your skin. If you do this for a living, it's going to happen. It's going to happen all the time. But obviously you don't want to encourage it and just dip your hands in vats full of dye all the time. It's just not a good idea. Your skin can soak that stuff up. And then I have this style. These are nitrile also. I have a latex allergy, so I never use any latex based gloves. But I use these when I'm just handling warm to mildly hot yarns. They are I have a little more dexterity in these gloves than I do in my true heat proof, or not heat proof, but heat resistant gloves. These gloves, I can get them at Home Depot usually. You can also order them online through Amazon and other places. They are heat resistant to a point. So if I have these on, I can reach into a vat of almost boiling water and pull something out, but I can't leave my hand there. Within a second and a half or so, you're going to start to feel it. So this just helps me when I'm pulling yarn out of the vats. It's very hot, so I can use it to squeeze excess water out. And then I usually keep an extra pair handy, so whatever hand I'm squeezing with, I can squeeze some yarn out and then take that glove off and put a new one on and squeeze some more. And by the time I get back to the first one, it's cooled off again. So you need something like that to handle your hot yarn. Also, when you're handling your dye powders, some people dye using the powder just in powder form and put it right into their vats or sprinkle it on their yarn depending on the effects they're going for. And some people will pre-mix jugs of like a 1% dye stock, a concentrate basically, to use. I mostly make a concentrate, but there are methods I use that need powder. In either case, if I'm mixing for concentrate, I do have to handle the dye powders even for that. So you definitely want to have a respirator or mask. This is an RZ mask, and it does have a P100 respirator thing in it. If you're going to use a mask like this, you need to make sure that you buy the right size and that it is properly fitted to seal around your face. This one, it velcros behind my head. There's a couple different fastening styles depending on what fits your shape. You really need to try these and make sure that they will seal on your face. It needs to fit snug over your nose and seal here. There should not be gaps under your eyes. This is adjustable and it should be sealed here also. It's really important to use a mask when you're working with the powders. It's not because the powders are toxic. It's because you don't ever want to breathe in any kind of dust into your lungs. That's really bad for your lungs. So you should also be using this to clean out your chicken coops and anything else that kicks up a lot of dust. Woodworkers use them often. Really important to protect your lungs. You only get one pair of lungs. I should mention also that some people do use safety goggles or even just wear their regular glasses to help protect their eyes from any splashback. I do that sometimes when I'm mixing dyes, but I don't wear them when I'm working with the dye pots because of the steam. It's far more dangerous for me to not be able to see what I'm doing when I'm working with boiling hot water than it is, the likelihood that I'm going to splash myself at this point is less than I might burn myself. So that's a choice you have to make for yourself. Obviously, you are more protected all the time with more safety gear.
We went to the eye. I remember your smile reflecting the light. We didn't care what tomorrow would bring. It was only right now. The sun was alive. Can still see you walk down the shore, holding in all the secrets, kept me waiting for the answers. The answers. Yeah. We can do it all again. I know. Somewhere down the line we're meant to come back home. We can do it all again. I know. I know. Somebody said it's only those who dare to die young who get the most out of life under the sun. But I know it's not true. I've seen the future, and it's brighter than the eye when we are together. Yeah, it's brighter than the eye when we are together. Last day I saw you in town, didn't care to say hi, you were in a rush. And let's say I'll see you again, would you care to sit down, or was it just a crush? I see you walk down the street, holding in all the secrets, keep me waiting for the answers. The answers. And we can do it all again. I know. Somewhere down the line we're meant to come back home. And we can do it all again. I know. Yeah, we can do it all. I know. Somebody said it's only those who dare to die young.
I've got the first round in. I'm only using 4 steamers tonight. I have limitations on my electric, and since I really need to run the heater, I'm down 2 steamers right now. So those ones are cooking. I'm going to set a timer and let them go, and it's probably all I'm going to show you tonight. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next video.
Yeah, it's brighter than the